So my name's Orion Mwangi. I'm a clinical psychologist. At my career, I've been practicing for almost now 15 years in this particular field. Today, I want to reflect with you about depression. Depression, and I'll just try to be as simple as possible. Now, when you talk about depression, there are so many things that come into the mind. A person who is sad, a person who is feeling very low, a person who is feeling a lot of dejection. But what exactly is depression? Now, depression is a mood disorder. When you talk about mood disorder, it means there's something to do with the feelings. And another simplest way to look at depression, most people would say, is being emotionally flat. It's like the person emotion have been switched off, but it's actually not exactly like being switched off. But the person could also be experiencing extreme feelings. Whether we are talking about a person who is extremely excited, what we call manic or a mania, if you like, or a person who is extremely depressed, in the sense that the person is not talking, so forth, or what you call the clinical kind of depression, or what you call the unipolar depression. Depression can be classified in different forms. There are three categories of depression. The first category of depression is what I've just mentioned, clinical depression, where the person goes through extreme depressive mood. It's like the person have completely switched off, not talking with the people, isolated, withdrawn. Other times, like they are confused, they don't understand what is happening. They end up even having issues of memory. They start forgetting things that are so obvious around them. They may also at one point become very violent when pushed so much. So this kind of people, like depressed person, would just keep quieted, does not want to engage in any kind of social life, work, whether it is school, they are no longer interested. And you find that mostly they do not have energy. They are so much demotivated about life. And their talk is, when they speak up, like they are so much negative about everything around themselves. The second type of depression that's also quite so common to many people is what we call the bipolar depression. Bipolar disorder, bipolar depression. Bipolar depression, as the word suggests, bi means two. It means that at one point the person is suffering what we call the clinical type of depression, which I've just mentioned is the depressive state of mind, among other things that I've just mentioned. But now on the other extreme, the person is experiencing what we call mania. Maniac is a state of extreme excitement, a lot of energy, a lot of stories, a lot of big ideas, what we call reduced thinking, big ideas, big talk, know it all, lot of energy, wanting to start out at etc., and fighting it for that particular place to be recognized. That is now the polar side, the side of manic. Polar, like, North Pole, South Pole. It actually means the extreme of the other. And the last form of depression is what we call dysthymic depression. In other words, it's like the border of the clinical, or what we call the unipolar depression, or the major depression, and the bipolar depression. So the person is not suffering from either, just right there. Okay, most people experience that for quite a long period of time, the dysmetric or the border-like depression, for so long. And statistically, if you try to do a little bit of desktop research, you find that a lot of people nowadays are going through depression. But the question is, why? Why do you have a lot of people going through depression today? There are so many theories, there are so many explanations that are given about what causes depression. But I want to look at simple theories or maybe simple explanations to this. I don't know, the simplest explanation is breakdown of social structures, social systems that normally support human beings. Okay, now, this is the old saying that no man is an island. We should live interdependently. Every man should, or man in terms of all the gender, should have a friend, a person that you can confide to, a person that you can tell your story, or what you normally call a shoulder to lean on, a friend who is going to be there all the time, non-judgmental, ready to listen, and walk through with you, irrespective of what you're going through, just like what you have in the Alcoholic Anonymous and Narcotic Anonymous, where we do not judge any person, whichever experience it is. And we need that in our lives. That person that you open up your heart to, with no fear, with no, like you're talking to the next saint, or you're talking to certain kind of a monk somewhere in the Tibetan mountains, such that you approach a person as if you are damaged goods. No. But it's a person who, first of all, upholds that respect, dignity, and also embraces that it's a struggle is real. Battles of life is real. Right? Now, breakdown of social structures and systems, or what you call social disconnection, is such a bad thing in life. And most people do not know that they are breaking away, which also brings in other reasons as why there's a lot of depression. Use of alcohol and drugs. Drugs react differently to our bodies. Drugs are chemicals. They have got ability to affect the four brain chemicals, especially dopamine. You may need to read a little bit about how dopamine behaves in your brain. Another chemical known as serotonin, and how it influences. But generally, when drugs and alcohol used, then you find can change the brain, the chemical structure in the brain. And also, to an extent, even the structure of the brain itself. Leave the chemical, but even the structure. Shrinking of the brain, etc. So, depression would occur because when we talk about that, depression touches a lot about feelings and emotions. It means that the chemicals in the brain also may have their own issues. So when they are interfered with, depression is likely to occur. Some people are born with inborn problems, so depression can also be genetic. It can be inherited. Studies have been done and shown that in the twin studies, a lot of people have gone through that, genetic problems. So they are born with chemical imbalances, they are born with genetic issues. So, also life challenges, divorce and separations, loss, could be business or death of a person, loss of your house, loss of your car, loss of something that you really treasure, can bring about depression. Even the promotion, a lot of money that you have never controlled before, can bring a lot of depression. Marriage, and even being single can as well. Research, of course, have shown those people who are married will live longer than those who are single, simply because of the first factor, the social connection. the ability to be able to offroad, defend, discuss, and the feeling of being supported and encouraged makes life to be easier, and a perception that like there's someone who can be able to support me. That's why when those who get aged, our grade have to use a walking stick. But psychologically, emotionally, we also need to have a walking stick. So there are many reasons to depression. We shall be discussing more now next time about the symptoms of depression. Thank you.